So today I'm going to introduce you new features that we are releasing next week. Its name is cross-account management. User journey starts with this welcome banner that introduces new feature and suggests user to opt in to use this feature. So he sees this banner, clicks this action button, and here's the setting page. So in this setting page, he can opt in to use different pieces of organization entities. One of these is backup policies, and this is a heart of the actual cross-account management. That is a policy that actually replicates the backup plans across users' organization, and the only user who is allowed to execute this action is a master account. It's a specific type of account in terms of organization who actually created organization and has a full access to any actions inside of it. So backup policy, as I mentioned, is the way to replicate backup plans. And in order to use it, we need to opt in to this feature. Let's assume that it was disabled by default. I didn't prepare this stuff, sorry. Yeah, so by default, he will see this page. He will see backup policies disabled. And here he can enable these policies and actually start creating them and replicate these plans across his organization. And another organization entity that we need to grant access to is actual access of our service principal in order to create service linked roles for organization's accounts, and we need it in order to perform actual viewing of organization jobs. So we actually can see status of the jobs across organization, and we see all the jobs that were created across organization for all of the users of this organization. So in order to opt in, we also click enable button, and now we can actually perform the magic. We go to the backup policies, and here we can create the policy, our first policy. Let's name it my first policy. We also need to add some description. For the simplicity's sake, now I named it as test. And here is one of the most important things that was implemented for this feature. So what you see right now is implemented in the micro front-end way. So it's a specific term that is very similar to the microservices in the backend world, but it's can be applied to but it applied to the front-end world, meaning that we can actually take this piece of component and embed and deliver it separately to any consumer we want. And in our case, consumer of this widget is organizations console, meaning that they have absolutely the same representation of the policy editor as we are seeing right now. And I will show it later. So here we see pretty much the same representation of backup plan configuration as we and our users used to see before. Here we need to enter all information about backup plan, and it would be immediately reflected in the JSON schema of the organization policies. So we can distribute these backup plans across different regions in one place. That is nice. We can select the regions where we want this plan to appear, and let's see how it's reflected in the JSON. So in the JSON, we see actual representation of the policies that is compatible with organization policy syntax. And here we actually do some validation too. So what is the effective policy? So this is a mechanism that actually allows us to create partial policies and combine them together into one effective policy that is actually activated to the account. So here we notify our customers that this policy is not complete, meaning that usually backup plan at least contains one backup rule and one selection. And we also showing these icons on the left side that actually meaning providing some informative messages what is missing. For this particular particular case, we are missing the rules and selections, and we are going to add them using Visual Editor. So we're switching back, and what we're doing right now, I'm creating a backup rule. Let's set up a frequency as every hour, and also customize it to run, let's say, 2316. Okay, let's give it more time. 2318, and start within 1 hour. I just want to show you how it would be activated in actual real case. And then we need to specify the vault where we want to store recovery points, and we also can specify the copy rules. Let's say we want to copy it to the London, and here it is. So pretty much the same set of fields that we have for the backup plan right now. Now we're clicking add rule, and this rule actually being added to the JSON schema. If you can see, here it is, rule name test, schedule expression, and all the configurations that we specified in the actual visual editor, but still we get this warning that it's not complete because we are missing the selections. And let's go back and actually add one. So I will use the role that I have in my accounts, in my 2 accounts in this organization, and I just want to show you how it will work in the scale, in this, like, not a scale, like something like simulating the scale. So we specify in the tag key, we specify in the tag value, we save it, and now going back to the JSON, we see that it's valid, no complaints, everything is good, and we are ready to save it. So once we save, we can perform actual attachment of the targets. So in this case, targets are organizational units or accounts. So who doesn't know, organizational unit is just a logical way of storing of accounts inside the organization. So just it will simplify and distributing of this policy across organization. So actually we can just apply it to the whole root, and it would be distributed across all accounts we have right now. But I don't want to do this. I want to pick up some particular accounts that I'm interested in. This is my account, and the second one is the member account. Yep. So as far once we attach the targets, we will be able actually to see this backup plan in our backup plans page. So here it is, my plan created 1615 today. And once we go to the details page, what we see is that actually we can't modify and delete this plan because it's one of the limitations of organizations. So we don't have control over the actual resources created by organization policies. And in order to modify or delete the plan, we need actually to go to the backup policy and perform any modifications or deletion of this policy. So if you probably remember, we had one backup rule that was targeting the default vault that was using this cron expression. It's pretty much matches what we defined in the policy. And the same is for the resource assignments. So we have one tag specified for the assignment, and we will see how it will work pretty shortly. It should be activated in 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how actually we can monitor the status of jobs in terms of organization. So we will have this consolidated view that will provide us a way to discover that which backup job was created for which account ID, and it also provides a nice filters like by account ID. We can actually build a view that would display all the jobs applied to this particular account. We can also filter by status. and it would combine all the filters in and apply it to the API, and we get the actual result. And going to the details page, we also showing the account details, accounts details of actual organization target. So it's account name, account ID, and account email. Nothing else we can actually provide more informative than this. And also for discoverability, we have added the link to the recovery point. So it allows customers to actually see which backup plan creates these recovery points, and we can go to the backup plan description and see what it is inside. Pretty much the same as we have right now, but just with one limitation that we cannot edit or delete this plan. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the plan is not started. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how it looks in the organizations console. They whitelisted my account, and actually I'm currently in the production, and I'm able to see the backup policies I have. Yeah, so as far as you can see, we're using pretty much the same policy editor, because as I mentioned, it's a shared solution with organization, and I did a lot of work to configure infrastructure and deployment in order to achieve this, to make the component visible on both console and be consistent on both console. So yeah, so it's pretty much the same. Here you can also see the configuration of the plan, and you can switch to the JSON, and you'll see pretty much the same view as we have in our console. Okay, so now we can go and check our backup jobs. So going back to the backup console, going to the cross-account management, yes, we see that we have some backup jobs running. And we also can use our filters in the table to filter by specific account we want to build jobs view against. So here we select account. We see that we have these backup jobs for this specific account. We also can apply filter by status, and we will have also jobs for this account and specific status. And it's a nice way to build consolidated view across organizations and across specific accounts. And now I'm going to demonstrate you how actually policy inheritance works. I mentioned something about effective policy. So this effective policy is based on the policy inheritance, meaning that you can create multiple policies that can be combined into one backup plan. So let's try to create a new policy. Let's name it my second policy, giving some description. And now going to the JSON editor, we can specify the plan name as we specified, the same plan name as specified in our first policy. So my plan, and let's enhance this plan by populating it to a new region. So it was populated it was distributed to the CA Central 1 and US West 2 before. Now I'm going to append a new region. So this append is advanced operator that can be used to actually concatenate some array-like values. For this specific case, it's regions. So let's try to create this plan in the US East 1 region. So we click create policy, and we need to attach this policy to the plan, to the accounts. Here we go. And let's switch to the US East 1. Yep, now we see that we have this my plan distributed to the US East 1 region. And it contains the same rules, has the same resource assignments. And I also want to present you how we actually handle these advanced operators in our policy editor. So going back to the my second policy, click edit. And here we'll see that we failed to actually display the regions, notifying customers that there was an advanced operator used for this specific field. So the reason behind it is very simple. So when we're talking about inheritance, we actually don't know about the chain of the inheritance, meaning that we don't know what is the base policy, like the policy from which we derive this specific policy. So we don't know information about the original policy, and that's why we cannot say what would be the final policy once it's combined to the effective policy. That's the reason. And in this case, we suggest our customers to actually use JSON editor. And here we can perform all the modifications we want. Let's try to change this advanced operator back to the assign. And in this case, we will be able to see the field in the UI. And we can also apply a remove operator. So remove operator will remove a specific value from the original list. So let's try to remove our plan from the US West 2 region and save the policy. And here we don't see this plan anymore. And the last piece that I wanted to present, it's actually how we can opt out from using organizations APIs. So we go back to the settings page, click disable, confirm that we want to disable it because it's a kind of a friction point. And once we disable the policies, we disable creation of the backup jobs from the plans created by this policy. So we can opt out, and if we go back to the screens where we were, we will see this banner saying that you need to enable trusted access to the organizations, and we can actually perform the same actions from the page itself, not like going back and forth between settings page and cross-account monitoring. So we can just enable it here. The same for the policies. We can just enable it here, and it will be enabled in the settings. As you can see, we have policies enabled here. Oh yeah, I disabled backup policies, and my backup plan got deleted. That's expected. And here's a view from the master account. Now I'm going to present you how it will actually look from the member account. Okay, so here's a member account I have in my organization. Yep. As I mentioned in the beginnings, organizations API only allowed to be called from the master account, so we have to limit all the attempts to actually view these organization policies from the member accounts. Yeah, we will see this access denied, and we will mention that we need to that user needs to log in as master account, or at least have sufficient permissions to list the policies. And the same for the cross account management. We will see the same banner, and in this way we will disable member accounts to. We will notify our members' accounts that this feature is not supported for them. That's pretty much it for the part I wanted to present.